So good evening everyone. Today we'll start off with what is meant by while loop. Okay. So before entering into while loop, I'll just recollect what we have seen yesterday. Okay. So we just started with if else elif statements, right? So what is mean by if I have a question like I have two answers. Okay, so if my dog is, suppose I have an example here, if my dog is hungry, then I will feed the dog, else I won't feed my dog. Okay, so I have a set of answers, right? If I have yes or no questions, I'll be having two answers, either yes or no, right? So there will be using this function. If my condition is true, then do this, else do this, right? So there comes the question, what is meant by elif? Elif is nothing but it is a combination of else plus if. Okay, if I have a set of if I have questions and the questions have a set of more than two answers, consider to be if my servant is asking me, so what is your dinner? Okay, so you can just give me a set of options like you can choose idli or dosas or something like pizzas or something like that, no? So I have a set of more than two options, right? So he'll be asking what is your breakfast. So I can just, he said, just if go with dosa, else if goes with puri, or else goes with pizza, right? So if I have set of multiple options to my question or to my command, I'll be using else if, right? So yeah, so this is my basic syntax, right? So this will be my basic syntax for using else if else statement. So if my condition is this, if my condition is this, execute this, or else my condition is this, do this. If both this condition is not there, else do this, right? So we saw some exercises and then we just moved on with what is meant by for loops. For loops means if you just say for loops, you should get to know about iteration. So if I have a n number of elements in my list, I want to do iteration in each elements of the list, then I will go for loop, right? So we just saw what is iteration. Iteratable means we can just iterate over each and every object in the list, right? So this is the basic syntax for a for loop. So I will be assigning a variable my iteratable. Okay, so I have a list, I have a variable my iteratable, I have a set of list 1 2 3, right? So for the items, for the item names, this is also a way, like I'm calling that item names in this variable, print the item name. So if I just ask to print, it just start a loop until how many elements I have, just it's print 1 2 3, it's just iterate. First thing it prints this, second thing it prints this, third thing it prints this, right? This is the basic syntax for a for loop. So we saw some exercises in that, and now currently we are in while loop. What is meant by while? Okay, the while statement in Python is one of the most general way to perform iteration. Okay, we just saw for loops also iteration, while loop also iteration. So what is that while? How it differs from that? Okay, a while statement will repeatedly execute a single statement or a group of statement as long the condition is true. Okay, so the reason it is called it is a loop is because the code statements are loop through over and over again until the condition is no longer met. Okay, so as I said, as we discussed, while loop will continue to execute a block of code until some condition remains true. For example, while my pool is not full, when my swimming pool is not full, keep filling the water until the condition is true, becomes true, it's keep on running the code. Okay, or while my dog are still hungry, keep feeding the dogs until my dogs are not hungry, it won't stop this thing, right? So this is the basic syntax we'll be using for a while loop. So I'll just give a statement while I will give some condition. If the condition is true, it will be doing. Else it will do this. Okay. If while my dog is hungry, feed it. Else if it is not hungry, just stop feeding it. Right? So we'll just go into some example problems so that you can just know what is the while loop. Okay, let me jump on to the Jupyter notebook. Okay, yeah, so what I'm doing here, what I'm supposed to do. So we just saw, right, the basic syntax of while loop, right? So while some condition, do this, else do this, right? So we'll just do the same. Okay, yeah, we'll do the same. Okay, so I just assign a x variable whose value is 0. Okay, I just have an x variable whose value is 0. I write while x is equal to 0. Okay, sorry, if my y, let me just say x is less than 10, until my x value is less than 10, what I'm supposed to do? I'll just write a condition. I just wrote a condition until my x value is less than 10, print me the value x is less than, or else I can just print it. Okay, the x value is currently, okay, x value is currently, like that. I'll just print it. Okay, so what I should print here, I should print the value of x, right? Enter. Okay, and then I'll just say print x is still less than 10. Okay, and then I'll say adding 1 to x. Okay, I just says, okay, and then what I do again, I'll just add x is equal to x plus 1. What I'm doing here, I just write a condition until my x is less than 10, print, first print what is the value of x, then print a statement like x is less than 10, so I am adding 1 to x. So what I am doing in the next line, I am just reassigning the value of x by increasing one value. If suppose it is 0, x is equal to 0 plus 1, it is 1. If it is in the next time, it will be x value is 1, so it will be reassigned to 2, right? I can write like this, or else I can write it as x plus equal to 1, which is also similar to the before thing, right? If I run this, see what I'm getting. First x was 0, so it's just while loop it satisfies, so it prints the value x is currently 0, x is less than 1, adding 1 to it. So I just get next value 1, still it is less than 0. So until it becomes 9, it just printed. When it got 10, it just dissatisfied, or it doesn't satisfy the condition, so it stopped its function, right? Understood? So until my condition is met, it was just printing, it was continue its loop, right? So I can just rewrite the same thing. Okay, sorry, I can rewrite the same thing here again, right? So while it was like running until x is less than 10, run this loop. Okay, else what I'm supposed to do, if it becomes greater than 10, what I'm supposed to do? Okay, let me print it is to be, okay, all done. Okay, so the value is done. Okay, I'll just write like this, all done. Okay, so if I run it again until the value of 9, so that the while condition satisfies, it's just printed. When it's the crosses the condition, it just go for else. Okay, so it's printed all done, right? So this is what the while loop actually does, right? So here we just saw if else elif then for loop while. I'm going to introduce some miscellaneous thing. What is that? So in some way I just want to break my, like I want to pass my program, and I want to wait until the next command is initiated to run that program, right? So that point we used to call it break my code for a while. Okay, so once if it is break, if at all I just continue the program again, then only the program starts to run. Okay, so let me just go with the example so that you people can understand. So I'm just again assigning, or else I'll just paste the same code. Okay, x is 0. I just assume x variable to have a value 0, while x is less than 10. I just print x current value is so and so, and x is still less than 10, so I am adding 1 to x. I'm incrementing x. Okay, so I just write another condition here. So here inside this I'm just writing, if x, when x comes to 3, x equal to 3 means if when x comes to 3, what I'm supposed to do? Print, okay, you reach the value 3. I'll just write you reach the value 3. Okay, I'll just again write, okay, else if it is not 3, okay, what I'm supposed to print? Let print, let's it's be continuing, it's continuing, like that I'll just write. Okay, and then what I'm doing here, so here the my, when it is 0 it will just go inside the loop because it is less than 10, so it prints the value to be 0, then it comes again, x is less than 10, adding 1 to it, so again it's come to the next line, it will just add x to be as 2, right, or else 1. If it is 0 it will just increment its value in 1, so it will become 1, x value became 1, so it comes to the next line, if x is equal to 3, if the 1 is not, if now the current value of x is 1, right, so it just skips this, so it comes to else. Okay, else it just prints b continuing and it stops the program. If I just run it, see what is doing. So until unless I have my value to be, x value to be 3, I just keep on running, right? The entire code ran and it just keep on running, right? So here now the same code I'm copying, see, same code I'm copying, okay, control C, I'm copying it and I use here, okay, I'm just doing here a break, okay, if it is comes to 3, just give me a break. If I just alone write this and run, what is my answer? Once until the value becomes 3, it just keep on running. If this condition satisfies, my things got break. Okay, so when I reach 3, my thing got broken down. Okay, did you understand? So see, why here it didn't break means here we just introduce 0. When it starts program, it just say x is 0, so it is less than 10. Obviously it starts doing this, it prints the values, then it prints the statement, and then it's add 1, so x becomes 1, then it comes to the next line, if x is equal to 3, no, x is not equal to 3, so it just skips this and it prints here. The same things happens here until x is not equal to 3, these two both lines didn't get involved in the program, right? So when it's 0, it just do this, and then it skips this and it's do this. When it comes to 3, then here the program starts running this, so it just prints this value and then it breaks the command, right? See, while loop, okay, in other loops and all, you can run a loop and you can get an answer. For while loop, if you just give an undefined set of undefined set of loops, it will just keep on running for unlimited times. Just let me show you. I'll just give a blank thing. I'll just say while true. Okay, while it is true. So we didn't give any, we are not going to give anything. Print. Let me just say I'm stuck in a big loop. Okay, if I start running it, see, it's keep on running the infinite loop. Okay, so it's keep on running, so it doesn't have any end. We didn't mention any command to it to get failed, right? So it start running infinite time. It's keep on running actually. See, it's keep on running. We just go back, it's keep on running. It's an infinite loop, right? It's keep on running. It's what keep until the command or the what we say, what we input, it fulfilled. It just keep on running. It's an infinite loop. Okay. So if at all you want to get an infinite loop, what you will be using? You will be using a while statement. Okay. So apart from this, I'll just introduce some useful operators too. Okay, let me start with a first operator called a range. What is a range? Okay, so let me scroll down. I'll just say I'm going to start a topic called range. Okay, so if you use hash, that doesn't mean that's like a heading or something, so it won't get involved in our program, right? So I'm going to start a range operator called range. What is a range? Okay, so the range functions, okay, basically allows you to quickly generate a list of integers. Suppose if I want to create a list, okay, if I want to create a list from 0 to 20, what I will be doing, I'll just type list, okay, is equal to, I'll just use square braces and then 1 comma 2 comma 3 comma 4, like that I'll be writing, right? Instead of that, I can use a range. Okay, so what I'll be doing, see, I'll just say, I'll just use a range or range. Okay, I'll just write 0 to, I should, if I want 20, I should write 21 because it is an open loop, so that before until the before number will be loop, or else the number which we include won't get involved. Okay, so if I do that, I just say the range 0 to 21. If I run that, it got executed. Okay, so what I have in my range? I have a set of numbers from 0 to 21. I'll just make list out of the range what we have discussed. Range 0 comma 21. If I do that, it's get updated, right? So if I see the list again, so what will be my list here? So I just created a list where I have a set of elements from 0 to 21. Right? So this is something like you can quickly generate a list of integers. It may be 0 to 10, 0 to 100, 0 to 1000, or n number of things what you want. You can just create. Right? So if I say let it be a is equal to this, sorry, a is equal to this. Okay, if I update a, okay, so what is this? If I just say, sorry, if I just see, okay, so here what I just did, if I just compare the value exactly with what I did, okay, I'm not getting executed, right? So what is that? Why it is that? Okay, I have a loop, already a loop running for me. So I get a incomplete loop. It's even running for me. So I cannot get another line to be executed during this time. So what I'm going to do, I just go to kernel, okay, restart, okay. Uh, Shut up, okay. So if I just do this, okay, if I run this, it gets again this, right? What I'm supposed to do now? So since I just say, okay, what if we have some infinite loop, we can't get another line to be executed. So what I did here, I just went to kernel, I just click restart the kernel. So here you can find kernel is ready, yet my this thing get, see, if I just keep here, it stopped, right? It's actually stopped, right? So if I just type this, if I just run this, even then I get a star. What is that? So what does that means? You have a program or something like that. See, if I just write this, if I just run this now, I have this. Okay, so make sure, okay, if you get something like star instead of a number, what does it means is some other program in your notebook is under progress or under construction or under function. Okay, so you cannot run a multiple program or a multiple set of instruction in a single notebook. Okay, in a single sheet of notebook you can't run. Either I can just create another sheet, another tab, I can just run it, but instead here we can't do. Okay, so I just made range 0 to 21 and I make the entire range to be list. So I got 0 to 20 numbers quickly. Okay, instead of manually adding, I just got it quickly, right? See, this is a basic thing. I just made a range from 0 to 20. I want to take only even numbers, means multiples of 2. Okay, so if I just take 0, okay, if I just take 0, then I should take 2, leaving 1. Then skip one more element, 4. So what I'm going to do? I'm going to introduce another thing. So I just make a list out of a range. Okay, so before what we'll be doing, from this element to this element, right? From 0 to 21, get me a range and make it as a list, jumping or getting every second element. Okay, so this is starting, this is ending, this is how many, like every second element. So if I just do this 0, then it will take a second, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20. If I run that, it just gives me this. Okay, so it gives 0, 2, 3, 4, 6, 8, 12, 16. If I just make the same thing, okay, if I just make the same thing, see, instead of 2, if I make 3, okay, if I run it, I get every third number, like 0, 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18. Okay, if I just get one time multiple of 7, I can just 6, 7, 11, everything, whatever I want, I can take. Right? This is called a range function. Okay, so range is nothing but quickly building up a list. Right, so I may just assign a range from 0 to 21, that is mean by 0, 1, 2, 3, 4 up to 20. So build me a list out of this range. Then I can also add condition, every third number, every second number, like that. Okay, the next one what we are going to see is enumerate. What is mean by enumerate? Let me write it. Enumerate. What is mean by that? Sorry. What is mean by that? Enumerate. Okay, so enumerate is then something useful function to use with for loop. Okay, so for we use this enumerate for loops. Okay, so let me just say, let me just type it again. Okay, uh, let me just say I have some count to be. Okay, so I have some index count. Let me assign a variable index count whose initial value is 0. Okay, so I'm just going to use some for loop condition here. Okay, so for letter, let me say for letter in A, B, C, D, E. Okay, I have assigned some letters. For letters in A, B, C, D, E, I just give a condition. Print, okay, print, what I'm going to print? At index. See carefully, I am just using curly braces here. Why I am using curly braces? Okay, so let me write it fully and I'll explain you. For at the index curly braces, the letter is curly braces. Okay, so if we here we just use blank space and we mention x, right? So there we were getting the value to be whatever value we are getting that. Here we are using curly braces is nothing something like even we use for dictionary will be using that, right? Curly braces to define a dictionary, right? So when we use curly braces, it just refers from our data. Okay, so for that what I'm going to do, I just use curly braces, right? So I just use dot format. I'll be using dot format. So in first curly braces what I should get at index, right? So I should be referring here what I should do, index number I should get here, right? So I'll just write index count, right? Index count. Here index count should be there. So first initially running 0 it will be here, right? Index count. Second the letter should be here from here, right? So I'll just write letter. If I run that, what it's going to say? If I run that, in before that I should suppose to increase the index count, right? So I'll just say index underscore count plus equal to 1, which is means for every loop it just get added, right? So I'll just run it. See here what I'm getting. See, first I just make index count as 0, right? So when I start this, it prints at index, it just goes if I use curly braces, it just go to the format and just prints the index count, which is initially 0. So it prints 0. Okay, so and the letter is, it just again curly braces, it goes to letter, it will just pick the first letter from this, so A, and then index count became incremented by 1. So now again when the loop runs, at index it just go for the index count, which is 1, the letter is the next letter from the letters B. So likewise it just counted. Okay, right? So we what we had did here is you keep a track of how many loops you have gone through this. Okay, so you just made 1 2 3 4 5 loops. Okay, that this is where the enumerator was created. Okay, so you don't want to worry about creating and updating the index count or loop count variables, something like that. Okay, until how many variables you have, it will just print it. So it has 5 variables or 5 letters in this, so it just keep on doing this. So this function of not defining, we are not defining here until unless it the index number is 4 or not, we are not defining anything, right? We just keep on doing for that. If I just have E, F, G, H, I, J, K, something like that, is it like that? If I just run it again, how much I have? Okay, it's just executing. Okay, let me wait for it. Okay, until I how much letter I have, it just do for that. Okay, so you don't want to worry about creating or updating the index count or the loop count variable, how many times you want to loop. That is we are eliminating, right? So until it gets, it's just going that. We don't want, I just don't want to say until my loop I have 16 letters, until my loop count is 15, run it. If it is an another C program or something, we just want to mention go for 16 times only, go for 17 times only, or else you just want to say run this loop only for 15 times, like that you want to say, right? So here we eliminate. Okay, this is what we call enumerating here. Okay, so the next what we are going to use is zip. Okay, so zip function. Okay, so I'll just go with hashtag zip, that's my heading, right? So what I'm going to do, okay, uh, basically what zip function does, okay, the format enumerators, it's written some value, right? Let me just say you, okay, let me just say you, let me create a list. Okay, a list, what I'm going to list, okay, I'm going to list the enumerate, okay, value from the strings a b c d e. Okay, so if I do this, okay, sorry, if I do this, what will be my answer? It just enumerates first number, first letter as a tuple, right? 0a, 1b, 1b, 2c, 2c, 3d. It's just created tuple, a list of tuples, right? So it just enumerates according data, based on the data, it just enumerates the list, right? It was a list actually, right? You just can see the square braces here, right? Square braces here and here, right? So what it means, we could use tuple unpacking during a loop. Okay, so I'll just show you some example for zip function. Okay, so zip, okay, zip, what is mean by zip? I'll just see, I'll just create my list. Okay, my list one. Okay, I have a list one, I have 1 2 3 and then 4 and then 5. Okay, I have a list, I have created another list, my list 2 again, which is let me have a and then b and then, okay, c and then d e. Okay, let me have this until e. Okay, so I have 5 elements in my list, 1 and 5 elements in my list 2. I'll just update it. Okay, I'll just update it, it get updated. Okay, so I'm going to zip file. So what basically a zip means, so in normal terms you'll be just heard about this word zip. So if you have a larger file, you will zip entire file into a small package, or if you just combine everything inside a cover or something like that, you'll just zip it and you will send it. Instead of sending the entire content, means you will just was content, you will just bind it in a single folder and it will send it, right? So the same thing I'm going to zip here. Okay, so I am going to zip, what I'm going to do, zip both my list 1 comma my list 2. I'm going to zip both. If I just update it, it got zipped at this thing. This is what I'll just say, it is nothing but an hexadecimal value. Okay, so it got zipped. So if I want to see my zipped value or zipped data, what I should do, I'll just write list, okay, list my zipped content. If I say this, if I just run it, it just zip it. See, first element from this and this, it gets zipped in a tuple. Second element from this and this, third element, fourth element, fifth element, it just zipped it, right? It just bind it to elements. I can use another thing. See, I can use another list. My list 3 is equal to, I just say dogs, and then another thing cats. Okay, sorry, and then I say lines. Okay, and then I say tigers. Okay, tigers, and then I say glass. I say, what is it? Let it be some uh, elephant. Let it be an elephant. Okay, so let me update it. Okay, so I'll just go here and just update my list 3 again. So what it does, okay, so it's just executing. You can get a star mark here. It's just executing the command. Okay, let's wait for it. So see, first element from each list: 1 A and the dog, 2 B and the cat, 3 C and the lion, 4 D and the tiger, and the 5 E and the elephant. It just zipped all the elements from the list, set of lists. Okay, so you might be asking where I will be using this. Where I will be using this, I want to use a content or something like that. Okay, so suppose I have, okay, I'll just write a command. Okay, for, okay, for loop I'm making item. I'll just have 3 lists, right? So 3 items I have: item 1, item 2, and then item 3, sorry, item 3 in zip folder of my list 1, list 2, list 3. Okay, list 1, list 2, list 3. Okay, so what in that, I'm just writing a for loop. Okay, and then I'm saying print. What I'm going to print is, see, I'll just say I'll say for in a story, okay, uh, uh, the I'll just say, I'll just use this curly braces to find my dictionary, right? So the character is, and then I'll say again curly braces, who's, who has a uh, who has something like, who has item name, and then this. Okay, so what I have to refer for first thing, I just want to, in the story dash characters, so I want to mention the number which is from list 1, right? So I'll just say, I'll just use dot format. Okay, what is the first thing? Item 1. The second thing is I want to write this. Okay, so I'll just say item 3, item 3, item 3, sorry, item 3. Okay, and then item 2. If I execute, see, in a story the first character is dogs who has an item name A. In a story the second character is cat who, it just keep on adding things, right? It just unpack it from the list of 3 things, it just zipped it and it's adding. In a story the first character is dog whose item is A. In the story the second character is cat whose item is B. The story the third character is this, so and so, right? So here for using some, what to say, personalized thing, for every content I want to use personalized thing, I'll be using this zip. Okay, so zip, what is meant by zip? Zip is a collection. We are collecting every elements from a set of lists or something, so we'll organize and make it as an another list or something. Okay, so restore is something I just say we just saw, right? If yeah, some elements in a list or lot, we can just find minimum maximum. That is very easy. I can just say I have my list here, right? I have my list here, right? So my list one have 1 2 3 4 5. If I just say my, sorry, minimum in my list 1, what is the minimum in my list 1? Sorry, minimum, I'll just write it, I just forgot a T. Minimum in my list 1 is 1. Okay, where is my list 1 actually? I have it here. So minimum is 1. So indeed I can write maximum. Maximum in my list 1. If I run it, it's 5. So this is all very basic thing, minimum and maximum. Okay. So if it is there in my thing, or I can just check, I can say 3 in, I can write my list 1. If I just run it, it's true because I have 3 in my list 1. If I just say 7 in my my list 1, if I just run it, it's false because I don't have 7, I have up to 5 only, right? So this is like something you have in your list or you don't have in your list. Okay, that is similar, you just can easily understand. The next useful operator what we are going to see is random. Okay, random, random, random. Okay, what is mean by random in specific? Random is nothing but if I have a set of data, I'll just pick a random thing out of it, right? So it will be very easy, right? Let me just show you. Okay, I'll just create from. Okay, from. Okay, I'll just create a variable name something like random. I'll just create random input. Let me import. Sorry, import shuffle. Okay, if I run that, just get updated. It's just what we need here first. Okay, so I just created from random input shuffle. So I just want to give my shuffle list, right? So I just say shuffle. What I'm going to shuffle? I'm going to shuffle my list 1. Okay, if I just update it, it's get updated. Okay, so here what I'll be getting, I just said every time when I get my list, it just should get shuffled, right? If I just use my list 1 now, it gets shuffled, right? It was previously it was like 1 2 3 4 5. Now it got shuffled because I used the term shuffle my list. Okay, so I just shuffled it. Before using this, I just want to say my random import shuffle. Okay, so if you don't have any idea like I want to do this, means what you should do is you just type from. Okay, and then you just type what you want, which is your variable name, import. Okay, and then if you press tab, okay, sorry, yeah, let me here. Okay, okay, if you press tab or something like that, it will just ask you for the command. Okay, it just if what is there in this here. Okay, import. Okay, so from what is will be the suitable for this. Okay, I just got import. Okay, so what I want to import, the shuffle thing. Okay, so if I just okay, you're going to shuffle something, let me know what is going to shuffle. So I'll just say my shuffle my list 1. When I get my list 1, it goes shuffled. Okay, there we'll be using shuffle. Okay, next I'll just let me consider if I have a situation like I can get, if you are my user. Okay, so every time when you run a program, I just want to get a random number from a defined thing. Okay, consider to be I have a number from 0 to 100. Whenever you just run the program, I just want to give you a random number. Okay, so what I will be doing, so here also I just use from random import. Instead of shuffling it, I'll just use a term rand int, which is random integer. Get me a random integer. Okay, so from random import me random integer. Okay, if I just enter this, it get updated. So what is my random integers value? So suppose I consider to be my values range is 0 to 100. Okay, so if you write 100, whether this 100 is included or not, no, obviously it's not included. As we see it before, it's not included. If you want to include 100, if you want to use 101, right? If I just run it, I get a random value 89, right? If I just run it again, 86. It gets me a random value every time when I just give it. Okay, So the very last thing what we see is input. What is meant by input? So in C language or something like that, you will be calling a function called scanf. So to get the what to say, you to get the value from your user, you will be using scanf, right? So here in Python, how to get your input? So there we'll be writing directly input. Okay, so input. I'll just say enter something into this box. Okay, I'll just say I'll space and if I run that, it's asking for a box. Okay, so if I just say it's a great job, okay, if I run it, it just prints me that. Okay, so I can just collect my thing. Okay, instead of, if you want to assign it to be a variable, I can just assign it a is equal to input of this, what is giving the input, that is what I want to get printed. Okay, so we just saw let me just see the time. Okay, so that if you can, okay, let's we have some 2-3 examples and we'll just wind it off today's session. Okay, let me just go with some examples. Okay, so if I want to grab, okay, if I want to grab, if I have a set of lists, let it come to be having, I have something like elephant. Okay, so if I want to, not an elephant, I'll just say a word, let it to be a word, right? So I'll just want to print, or I want to make every letters in the word to as a list. So what I'll be doing, list, sorry, okay, list, I just said uh, my list. Okay, my list is equal to, sorry, square braces x. My list is x. What is this x? So x for x in what I let me just say word. Okay, so here my list is being run. Okay, so I'm going to create a list whose value is x. So what is the values of x? So for x in word, so if I run it, it get updated. Okay, if I check my value of list, my list, so it just create a what to say, each letter to be an element in my list, right? So next, what are you going to find? Let me just practice some more example. Okay, so if I want to find a squares of all numbers, suppose consider to be I got a number from 0 to 10, get me the output of square. So what I will be doing, I'll again create a list 2, okay, which is equal to what, x square. So what I will be doing for x square, what will be doing, x to the power star star of 2, which is meant by x square. So what is the value of x here? For x in, what we'll be doing, so we want to specify another list from 0 to 10, right? So instead of creating a list manually, I can just say range of 0 to 11, right? If I create this, get updated. If I see my list 2 again, it's 0 square is 0, 1 square is 1, 2 square is 2, 3 square is 3, 3 square is 9, 4 square is 16, and so on, right? Hope you are getting that, right? So this is how we does that. Whatever, let me write a list. If I want to create a list, I just write my condition and then I'm mentioning for, to get the value for x, I'm just searching in what is the thing, either it is a string or I want to do with my data set. Okay, you can just work out a couple of examples I'll be giving here now. You just explain me in the, like, you can just complete it when you find your free time. Just try converting, like if you just enter your Celsius value, you will get your Fahrenheit value. Okay, you have some formulas, right? Divided by 9, 9 to 5, something like that. So you just try creating that. And the another thing is you just creating, try to get some, you try to formulate a program so that you get input from the user and try to print it along with the statement. Okay, so we'll just have 10 minutes for we'll just spend some 10 minutes for this interaction time, so that if you have any doubts you can just ask to me. In the meanwhile, I'll update you with the attendance form once the interactive session of today's class is done. Okay, so you just ask your doubt, I'll just be answering you now. Okay, so post that we'll just end up with the attendance form. Okay, thank you guys. If you have any doubt, you just ping me. You can just I'll just enable the chat. You can just start pinging me. Okay, thank you guys. Let me stop my screen sharing so that I can just watch my chat. Okay, yeah, if you have any doubt you can just ask me. I can then share my screen, else I can just dedicate to my chat, right?